Hello, everyone. Gold Derby awards watchers. The Screen Actors Guilds have just finished, and we are here with the Gold Derby editorial and contributor team to break it all down. I guess to start off, if you couldn't tell from the Screen Actors Guild Awards tonight, we're in troubled times in the world, divided times. Things are not good. And I guess just we can say that these were all legitimate winners. They all legitimately won the awards, even if thousands of the votes were fraudulent. Even in that scenario, it'd still be all legitimate winners. How are you going, Tony? Yeah, happy with the Screen Actors Guild? A very political Screen Actors Guild this year.
Yeah, and we're going to hear about the political aspect of it. It's going to be, Trump is going to probably have a lot to say. But this was the most fired up, energetic SAG Awards I've ever seen. There was a palpable energy in the room, and you saw really passionate speeches from a lot of the winners, and especially I think my favorite speech of the night was the cast of Stranger Things. Oh
my gosh, he was running for office.
David Harbour, David Harbour,
2020.
But I thought it was a really strong show, a really quick moving show, even though it went over a little bit. There was just a lot of emotion in the room, and you saw a lot of passion for a lot of the winners. So I thought it was a fantastic show.
Yeah. Well, Amanda, we're joined by Amanda Spears too. What are your thoughts?
I was surprised by a lot of it. It was good. I don't think we need as much political political commentary every award show. But, Trump would have to take the weekend off from doing crazy things for that to happen, probably.
Yeah.
I really loved a lot of these winners. And Mahershala Ali, whew, that was a great speech. I think if anyone other than Julia, as far as politics in their speech, his was one of the best. And you could just see the deflation on Casey Affleck's face when he lost. This is over. I'm done now.
Yeah, there's a lot, and I wouldn't count Casey Affleck completely out of the race yet. Do we want to talk? That was, I guess, a big momentum shift in the race, in one of the awards races for the season, the lead actor race, where we saw Denzel Washington upset Casey Affleck tonight. Casey Affleck had won the Golden Globe. Tony, do you think this spells the end, as Amanda does, for Casey Affleck's awards run?
I don't know that it signifies the end. I think it puts a serious dent in the momentum. But then there's another aspect that, we've got a long time between now and the Oscars. And in between that, we have the BAFTAs where Denzel's not nominated.
But he's never been nominated before.
And he's never been nominated. But I'm just saying, in terms of momentum, Casey could pick momentum back up with a BAFTA win.
But what if Andrew Garfield wins? Then it's...
Oh, Andrew Garfield's not winning.
He's British. They sometimes will just go for the Brit.
Andrew Garfield's not winning.
Okay.
But
I'll tweet you when I'm right.
But
I told you so.
It did shift the race, and even Denzel was shocked. That's the most shock. Denzel is usually very calm, very collected at these things. It's the most kind of shaken I've seen him. And he was, moved to tears even during his acceptance speech. And he was a very popular winner. I mean, I think the momentum has definitely shifted in Denzel's favor, but I don't think it locks things up for him at all.
Yeah, I think there's a whole number of reasons why Denzel Washington's in a really good position to take this out. I had him before tonight. I had Denzel Washington predicted to win the Oscar, so I was imagining a turning of the tide. Can't remember if I had him predicted for tonight to win or not. And I think that's a good point, Tony. Has he peaked too soon? But I think a few things in Denzel Washington's favor is I think Manchester by the Sea, and we'll talk about this in a minute when we talk about the best ensemble race, but I think Manchester by the Sea is fading. It is losing momentum, it is losing steam. I can see it being an American Hustle type film that ends up leaving the Oscars with no awards. So I think it could be the film that pops up for nominations everywhere, doesn't win. I'm not sure how much goodwill Casey Affleck is earning. His press has been mixed throughout this Oscar season. Some really positive stuff, some quite negative stuff. But and Denzel Washington just so popular, so beloved. Fences has done well throughout. Viola Davis is already going to be winning for that film anyway. And I do think, and I don't think, I just want to stress, I don't think this is the main reason why I think Denzel Washington will win. I think after the Oscar So White stuff from the past 2 years, that helps Denzel Washington as well. I just think there's a whole lot of different narratives, including Manchester by the Sea's dropping and stuff like that. That I think Denzel Washington's in the box seat here, as I think you do as well.
And regardless, he's not going to win because he just because of the Oscar So White thing. He gives one of the finest performances of his career, which is hard to do as many as he's given. And he's kind of the actor you see who should have 3. It's just kind of weird that we just seen Meryl Streep do it and Daniel Day-Lewis, and now Denzel Washington's going to get there. So I guess we'll have to keep our eye on Tom Hanks for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I'm definitely putting Denzel's going up to number 1 for me. I think he's in front. I don't think he's a lock, but I think he, gave a really what I loved about his speech was how spontaneous it seemed, because he really didn't think that he would win. And I love the fact, he got choked up and really made it a point to recognize all of the actors in Fences who have not gotten the same reception that he and Viola have had.
Yeah, and Stephen Henderson's is a past Tony nominee for that performance too. So for his role, so he reprised his. He just didn't get any attention for it. So that was really, really nice. Yeah.
When there's an upset in a race, it's always good to hear the room's reaction, because people could be, the person was robbed or whatever, but the room was really excited to see Denzel win. It wasn't where did this come from? This is a weird, head scratcher. It was yay, we're so happy for him. So I think that will help him too. It's a lot of positive vibes going Denzel's way. I know a lot of the emails circulating around our editorial team were pretty happy as well. So I think Denzel's looking really good. But what I do like about this is, in a lot of ways, the Oscar races this year seem quite predictable. But I do think in the 2 lead races, we have races. I don't think Denzel Washington's a lock. I think Casey Affleck still could bounce back. And in the lead actress race, the race has really been all over the map. Natalie Portman was the front runner before the Globes. Then she dipped back as Emma Stone, and I have forgotten the name of who else won at the Globes.
Isabelle Huppert.
Thank you.
For people who are watching this, get your client to the BAFTAs. Just get her on stage.
Yeah.
Keep her top of mind.
Yeah. And then Meryl Streep still at the forefront of everyone's minds after that Globe speech, even getting a reference tonight by winners and by John Lithgow and things like that. So I think it's an open race, although is Emma Stone now the solid front runner to win Best Actress at the Oscars, Amanda?
No.
Okay, tell us why not. She's won the SAG, she's won the Globe. Surely she's on a path.
Well, I would say ask Renee Zellweger how she felt at this point in 2002. I'm sure she thought she was smooth sailing from here. I love La La Land, but when you look at the women who've won Best Actress for a musical, I don't know if she's next, because we're talking about Liza Minnelli, Barbara Streisand, Julie Andrews. I'm not sure she's the next one in that line. And that's kind of And plus, I want to see what BAFTA does. If BAFTA goes to Natalie Portman or to Meryl Streep, I might be tempted to go that way. If she wins BAFTA, then I'm done. Yeah, she's got it. But I need to see one more award that's a peer industry group before I make my final decision.
I see parallels with her, though, and a previous recent winner, Jean Dujardin. Like, a fun... What, sorry?
I just, Jean Dujardin. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah. Did I butcher the pronunciation, Amanda? Is that what you're laughing at?
No, just he's just like the most forgettable Oscar winner.
Yeah, well, he's
in recent years.
In a Best Picture, Best Director front runner, not the meatiest of roles, a bit more like it's not a singing movie, but it is a bit of a musical as such, like a dance movie. I don't know, like it's not a musical, but it's a very music-based film. Like, I definitely see Emma Stone in the Jean Dujardin's spot. Tony, what do you think about Emma Stone's chances going forward?
I think she's probably in front. I mean, she's playing an actress, particularly the actors branch, which is the largest branch of the Academy, will identify that. She's young, she's beautiful, so she's got the babe factor going for her, which, right or wrong, it's the truth. It is what it is. The one person I think, we have to really question is Natalie. Her place is Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman needed to win SAG to really get into the conversation. So I think I think Emma Stone is way in front, but she's not unbeatable for all the reasons that Amanda just said. So because it is not the most dynamic performance in the category, it's not the most it's not the most transformative performance in the category. So that works against Emma Stone, but she's certainly, the momentum is on her side for sure.
I actually would move Natalie Portman down to 4th now in my predictions. Amanda, you look shocked. What? Why not?
I mean, I'm trying to think, who does that puts her in front of? I don't know. I mean, maybe 2nd or 3rd, but I think 4th's a little low because we just don't know yet. I want to see one more industry award, basically. I still...
Where's the passion for Portman's performance?
I don't know how she's not winning these, to be frankly. I thought it was very transformative. I loved her performance, but yeah, I don't know. I think there's going to be a hiccup on the La La Land train somewhere. It's going to do something it's expected to win.
Yeah, I think that could be in director, although with the Screen Actors Guild Awards, it's probably not the time or place. This is not the time or place to be talking director races at the Screen Actors Guild Awards.
Oh, we can do a DGA slugfest later.
Yeah, we can do that a bit later. But I do think with Natalie Portman, I think if Emma Stone is beaten, I'm thinking like Isabel or Meryl Streep are the people to do it now.
My only problem with Isabel is, did we not learn our lesson from last year? Did we not just learn our lesson from last year where...
Refresh the viewers, Amanda. What is the lesson from last year?
Everybody thought Sylvester Stallone was going to win the Oscar. He wasn't nominated for SAG. He wasn't nominated at BAFTA. He didn't show up at either of them. He was out of sight, out of mind. And most of us still believed he was going to win the Oscar. She's not nominated at SAG. She's not eligible at BAFTA. How do we just do this again? How do we put her ahead of somebody who's hit at every award show she needs to be nominated for? She's at least still in the conversation, even if she's not winning.
Yeah. Like, I think that's like maybe an argument that Emma Stone has actually won these awards as well. Like, over like Natalie Portman, who's just been nominated. Boy, we have Marcus pop in and pop out. I was very interested to get his take.
I would say I wanted to talk to Marcus.
Me too. Come on back, Marcus.
Marcus, come on, buddy. Get in on the show. Let's talk about probably though, and I apologize. Marcus, are you back? Can you hear us, Marcus?
Yes, I'm sorry, I had technical problems.
Now, Marcus, I was running the live editors blog tonight and getting all the comments from all of you guys as we're watching the show, posting up on Gold Derby. You sent me one, I believe, before the Final Four awards saying you didn't want any upsets because you wanted your predictions to be right.
Yes,
Then we
and I got 100%. I'm the only person at Gold Derby in terms of editors and experts to get 100%.
What I was confused by is we had 2 upsets of those 4 categories.
Those were easy. Guys, 2 weeks ago, I wrote an article saying 4 reasons why Hidden Figures will win Best Ensemble. No
I missed
experts
that one.
I just republished it at Gold Derby. No experts listened to me. No editors listened to me. I think Ralph Galvin got Hidden Figures correct. Unfortunately, he's not in our charts, but we need to add him to our charts because he does really, really well. And for Denzel, Zach Laws
that's why Ralph's not in the charts. He does too well.
He does really well. Zach Laws was here watching with me,
bad.
and Zach and I gave each other double high fives when Denzel won because, I mean, granted, not a lot of people were predicting it, but doesn't it seem so obvious in hindsight that he would have won that?
Yeah. No, I agree. Marcus. Let's talk Hidden Figures, because that's the one less people saw coming. I think a lot of us sort of probably thought, probably Casey Affleck, but Denzel's got a reasonable shot at this. What were those reasons that you saw Hidden Figures winning, and which one do you think was the most important one in its favor?
I think the most important one is the fact that it's an ensemble. I mean, all of the characters, all of the actors are working together. That's how Orange is the New Black wins every single year. Also, the diversity didn't hurt. The fact that it's women-centric, that didn't hurt it. And its box office numbers didn't hurt it. All of these things together, it really, really was quite obvious to me. I was shocked in a way that no one else predicted it at Gold Derby at all. A lot of people had it in number 2, so I'll give them credit. Like number 2 is just I mean, a lot of my winners tonight were number 2 on the TV side. So I feel like, if you have something in number 2, that's really good.
Yeah.
Especially because the SAG Awards are really hard to predict sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, all those reasons together, it was the perfect combination in this year. It may not have won in a different year, but this year, without the Best Picture frontrunner in the list, La La Land, it just seemed obvious.
Yeah, I don't think this is necessarily a Best Picture bellwether all the time, the Screen Actors Guild Awards, but it would have been helpful for Moonlight or Manchester by the Sea to get a win here, to get some attention, to get some spotlight, to get some sort of momentum and to continue to be part of the conversation. So I think Hidden Figures winning's been a bit of a blow to both of those films.
Yeah, if you're La La Land tonight, you're looking pretty good at the Oscars. Because
La La Land would have loved that win for Best Ensemble.
Yeah, I think it helps La La Land because if it had been Moonlight or if it had been Manchester by the Sea, well, probably just more Moonlight, that would have really helped them out a lot more.
Yeah, because people have been talking about Moonlight all week. Oh, it just won the Screen Actors Guild. Oh, it is a really good film. Oh, it keeps it fresh in voters' minds. I think the interesting... What film do we think in the Best Picture race is best served to take down La La Land now in a post-SAG world?
Nothing.
Yeah, to me, this win was such a popular win. You could see it in the room that this was a popular win. Both, it got a standing ovation on the way up. It got a standing ovation afterwards. There was smiles on everybody's faces when Taraji was giving the speech. But it doesn't change. I don't think it has any impact on the equation of winning Best Picture. Which is,
it's kind of like, look at Mahershala Ali. The only person to beat him at any of these big award shows was Aaron Taylor Johnson. And the fact that he did not get in at the Oscars was really good news for Mahershala Ali. And now we have La La Land losing to Hidden Figures, which is not really a Best Picture. I mean, as it's a nominee, of course.
It is nominated. It is worth knowing that he technically could win at the Oscars.
Technically, you're right.
No.
But I don't think a lot of people are predicting it in their 1 spot or their number 2 spot or their number 3 spot. So this is basically good news for La La Land that Moonlight didn't win tonight.
Yeah.
And the fact that Emma Stone won Best Actress still keeps La La Land, front and center in the conversation.
You're right.
Yes, definitely. I agree. What, Marcus, do you have a favorite moment of the evening?
Hidden Figures. I mean,
Yeah.
It's
My
rare.
night was going so well up to that point.
But there is at Gold Derby, there's a Dixon curse where a lot of the times I'll predict something and it doesn't win. This was my moment in the sun, and I'm going to bask in its glory for as long as I possibly can. Remember, Tom O'Neill, I think you're watching this, Tom, when you got the Eddie Redmayne one right 2 years ago, you kind of bragged about that for a couple of years. So I'm not going to let this down for quite a long time.
Nor should you. Brag
No.
away,
Thank you,
Marcus.
Tony.
No. I got Bryan Cranston right, so I'm very happy.
You did.
There we go.
I'm giving you props.
Thank you. Thank
What-
you.
I'm having a quick no, Marcus. I'm surprised on your Facebook wall you haven't posted that Hidden Figures article yet.
Oh, give me a moment. I'll do that now.
He's
I was
only
already
one
on.
man.
I was already on Twitter, like writing. I told you so.
Time.
That's great, Amanda. Did you see the two? There were two like vote splits going on with the night of and People versus OJ. So Brian kind of came to the top. Plus, he's the veteran, right?
And he's the most famous in that category. And
Right.
not to disrespect the actors of the People versus OJ Simpson, usually when a cast sweeps, they're Oscar winners or Oscar nominees. So like HBO is secretly happy that their like little record of being the only ones to win both are like is intact. They don't have to share it with the FX network.
Yeah, and I think when we're thinking about like famous people winning and stuff at the SAG, I think famous is like a little bit different at Screen Actors Guild than it is at maybe a Golden Globes, where like a Lady Gaga is the most famous. At the Screen Actors Guild, Denzel Washington, Bryan Cranston, William H. Macy. These are your famous names because these are working actors who have like probably worked with so many voting members in that academy and are so well known. So they're often probably just as big as stars in the room as Tom Cruise or other.
I wish I would have gone with
pop stars, but blockbuster sort of stars. Yeah.
I had Stranger Things in second, and I just really wish I would have listened to myself on that one because when I saw those kids jumping up and down, I thought, yep, they just love those little kids so much.
Well, and that's one of the things that I think was so wonderful about tonight, and it goes back to what I said at the beginning, is that this was such a high energy awards ceremony. I just felt like the energy was up. You saw John Lithgow getting, pretty much a standing ovation for a TV category. He was a very popular winner. You saw the Stranger Things kids. Yeah. You saw the Stranger Things kids. That was the whole thing was so joyous. Claire Foy, really, I thought her speech was great, especially when she singled out Matt Smith, who really hasn't gotten the same sort of awards discussion as herself and Lithgow.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, this award show, even with like the politics and kind of the indignation and the anger, there was still like a passion to this. That there was an electricity to this, and maybe I'm seeing more than there was, but I don't know. It just got me. Several moments just really got me.
And this is the first time on the television side of the drama side where a cast has won 2 individual awards and not won the ensemble since The Sopranos did that. Like 6 Feet Under won Best Ensemble, and then James Gandolfini and Edie Falco won for the individual acting races. So I was sitting there thinking, oh my God, where did I put the crowd? It probably would have won without Downton Abbey in the category.
Yeah, so. Made a Bruce split. And it's worth remembering with the Screen Actors Guild. Sometimes they've got a bit of a populist bent to them in the TV races. Like this is the group that gave CSI the Best Ensemble Award one year. It's not always the most sort of pretentious show that wins, which at the Emmys, Globes, Glee won,
That's why I have Ralph Galvin to thank. He's the one that told me, Stranger Things is the most popular show. You have to predict Stranger Things. I think I had it in 3rd or 4th place, but I moved it up to number 1, so I got that one right. Thank you, Ralph. And then comedy, Orange Is the New Black just seemed obvious to me. The same reason Hidden Figures did. This is the year of diversity. This is the year of women empowerment. How could you not vote for for that. Just like that's why Julia won, I think, too. Julia.
I was so happy for Julia, mostly because Ralph gave me so much crap during our Slugfest
That she can't.
About Uzo or
about Uzo, and because I told him she wasn't going to win because usually SAG Awards come in twos. So I was sitting like, please God, he's gonna email me. I was super thrilled.
Uzo did win. Uzo won her 5th tonight, based on 3 ensembles and 2 individuals.
Yeah,
very good, Uzo.
Yeah, and look, if I can get on my soapbox for a second, I think the fact that Veep has never won this award is not great.
Terrible.
Criminal
in my mind.
I'm not going to predict it or Game of Thrones until another cast member gets nominated. Until Tony Hale or until a female actress on the Game of Thrones cast pops up, I'm not picking them.
The way that Veep casts work as an ensemble to use improv to refine the stories and stuff is really unlike any way an ensemble's worked together on a US show before. So I think it's a shame that hasn't. It's a show that isn't just good performances, but the way they work as an ensemble is quite unique, and I think it's a shame. Not that these shows have that similar sort of uniqueness to them, but I do think that it's a shame Arrested Development never won that award as well. There's just some really funny ensembles that have missed out in that category.
Third Rock from the Sun never won it.
Yeah.
John Lithgow doesn't win an ensemble award.
Tom O'Neill is texting me. He's saying, Hidden Figures did not send DVDs. Is this no longer a factor? Hidden Figures, granted, its box office is such a success that all the SAG members probably saw it in the theater, or they saw it over online screenings. But are DVDs no longer a factor at the SAG Awards?
Maybe not. And I also think that what helps something like Hidden Figures is that it's such a uplifting, happy, yay story that that something like the 2 other films that we would probably be talking about, things like Manchester by the Sea and Moonlight, those are not happy, uplifting films. And this
neither
film
is Fences.
Neither is Fences. I mean, this film just hits, and neither is Captain Fantastic. This really was the apple in a barrel of oranges, or orange in a barrel of apples. I never get that right.
It's not a real thing. It's not a real thing. Riley told us once to Google that, and it's not a real thing. It's only our thing.
So we could name it whatever we want, like a banana in a barrel of zucchinis.
Well, that would be a bruised banana, but sure.
Did anybody else? What was everybody's favorite speech of the night?
Mahershala. I want to give credit because he's never been better. So classy, the most relevant without being too over the top about being political. But very, very lovely to see Julia get up there again doing her thing. I love that. There's a million people in this room. I won in a landslide. All the other women were laughing.
Julia was good. Matt, I sent you the email of, Mahershala Ali gave the best non-Julia speech.
I made sure that got posted in the blog.
Thank you, sir.
I think Julia was my favorite, and David Harbour. That just really surprised me. So passionate, and that was great from him for someone who would not have known they were going to win at the beginning of the night.
He was prepared.
He was prepared, but Stranger Things was in the race, but Downton Abbey's won 3 of the past 4 years. The Crown's sort of the big show with a lot of buzz. I imagine after The Crown won those 2 other awards, he would have not been expecting Stranger Things to get called at that point in the night, at least. So he's that's nice when you get a great speech from someone that you didn't know was going to be giving a speech. Viola Davis comes and gives an amazing speech, incredible speech. But, if she's been checking out Gold Derby, she knows she's sort of got a 90% chance of taking out that award. If she doesn't
99.
99. I
1-to-1 or something.
So, I'm sure, and even if she doesn't check Gold Derby, I'm sure there's people on her team that are letting her know, look, you better have a speech. There's a very good chance you're winning tonight. Denzel Washington seemed to be a bit aware of the Gold Derby odds, or at least sort of talk in the town. In his speech, he sort of was saying how everyone was sort of saying that the young kid would win or something like that. So
I love the Stranger Things speech, but part of me really just wanted to see those kids be like super cute and, I mean, they're jumping up and down and holding hands and running up there, and they're the reason they won.
Oh yeah, and can we all like not wait for the numerous Winona Ryder gifs that are going to be floating around?
What the heck was her
with the facial expressions? I loved it. It made me happy.
Yeah,
she was very happy too.
Jim Parsons won his first SAG award.
Oh yeah,
Anthony Hopkins is still at 0.
Who else won their first after? Is there
Denzel Washington won his first.
That was it.
Yeah.
The big
Nicole Kidman has lost 9, I think now. Poor Nicole.
Taylor Schilling at least showed up this time, so that was new. So good for you for finally coming.
Yeah.
To the award show, like.
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna ask. Is it Charles and Tom to come and join us? Tom O'Brien, if they want to join us now. I think haven't been keeping an eye on the time. It's a very loose show tonight.
But how thrilled does Netflix have to be with sweeping the drama races? Like they've never won ensemble. So Stranger Things did what House of Cards couldn't.
I think the Emmys this year could be a Netflix showdown. Stranger Things versus The Crown, and if House of Cards has an amazing season, that wouldn't be out of it either. Well,
they're finally airing at like an interesting time because they're going to enter their May, so that kind of sets them up a little bit better than they've been set up in the past, doing it in February.
Could be Netflix versus Netflix for the Emmys this year for Best Drama Series. So could be.
Did you see? Producers Guild last night went to Stranger Things in Atlanta. So now we have to consider those Emmy frontrunners because there's a lot of overlap between the Producers Guild and the Emmy Awards.
Yeah, I think Atlanta's looking really good for at least nominations for the Emmys. Yeah, it looks like Tom's almost joined us. I'm hearing myself echo a little bit. Everyone's got earphones in, though, I see.
Marcus's cat is making an appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if we all like unplug and then plug back in, that might help.
Maybe.
Technical issues. Yeah. That's why people watch Gold Derby for the live aspect of it, right, Matt?
Yeah, anything can happen. We're live. It's enough. I dropped my ball.
What, 6? Are they at 6 now for stunts?
6 of 6. Yep.
If they get to 8, my suggestion to the producers is find the time to let them actually do this on stage, because that will be a very big moment.
Sorry, go, Marcus.
I was going to say, I'm usually against sweeps, but when you have something like the Battle of the Bastards on Game of Thrones, that is the best stunts ever on television. How could you not give it to Game of Thrones again?
Yeah,
I think they would have beat Hacksaw Ridge if they combined it into one category.
Ooh, there's a good article. Poll, maybe.
They should.
Okay, I'll write that up.
They should have been Hacksaw Ridge.
But they would have beat Hacksaw Ridge.
I think if you do a lot of TV versus sort of film awards over the past sort of 10 years, often I think the TV show winner's better than the film winner.
Yeah.
I mean, Game of Thrones every year has an episode that justifies them winning the stunt ensemble.
Yeah.
So unless they stop, they're not. I mean, I feel bad for the stunts cast of Walking Dead just because they're in like 40 pounds of makeup in the Atlanta heat. So, but
yeah,
but when you employ every stunt person in the world, you're gonna have a better chance of winning.
Yeah, right. I see Tom's trying to get in. I see he's got his thing on, but we can't see or hear him at the moment. Check my emails, make sure I haven't
Oh, Charlie's here.
Charles,
I think you're muted.
Oh, say something, Charles.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear that. You said hello.
Yay.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just used our separate talk account because I wasn't able to get them with mine. But yeah.
Okay.
How'd you do?
Charles, we'll give Tom another minute to get on. If Tom doesn't get on, I'll still ask Tony and Amanda to leave the chat in a couple of minutes, but we'll have them on here with Charles for a bit. Charles, initial thought. Give us your initial thought of the Screen Actors Guild. We'll talk about whatever you want to for a minute or two.
Oh man, that's too much pressure. It was just a fun evening, you know. Even though it ran a little long, it was just fun. You know, it was. You know, I like the energy in the room. I hate using that word energy all the time because obviously I lack a lot of it. But I was very taken by you know, a lot of those moments, especially the last three of the evening with ensemble and a drama, lead actor, and the cast in motion picture. Those were fun upsets.
Oh, I got all three of those right. I got all
yes, I know you did, Marcus. You won't shut up about it.
We got the email.
I hear something, but I don't register it.
I hear Marcus is at the moment going to be buy out a billboard in Hollywood. I got Hidden Figures right.
And I'm going to spray paint on it for a good time. Call 202-456-1414.
Is that his real phone number?
Thank God.
No, that's the White House. No, that's the White House switchboard.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Charlie, how often do you call that number and complain?
Whenever I get lonely and I'm looking for someone to cuddle with. But
This just took a
Melania is a great big spoon, by the way.
oh my God.
But anyhow, back to the subject at hand, though. The speeches were fantastic. Everything was just great about the ceremony. You know, it was just fun from start to finish. Like, one of my favorite moments was when Claire Foy won for the crown, and then you saw Millie Bobby Brown just stand up and cheering for her. Yeah. That just is a testament to the infectiousness of the joy in that room, and it was fantastic to watch.
What a great community, the Screen Actors Guild community. I feel like that was the theme of the night, is we are a great community. And they were really encouraging and supportive of one another in the room, so that's fantastic. Charles, at this hour, Trump has not tweeted about the Screen
About me or anything else?
About the Screen Actors Guild Awards. His last tweet was 4 hours ago about an interview he's got coming up on, so that he's excited for people to watch. But Charles, there's a question I have for you watching the show. Let's say there was so many references to Trump, so many political statements and stuff made, but in one sense that makes things difficult for Trump, because at the Globes, Meryl Streep was an easy target. If he targets one person from the SAGs tonight, who is Trump going to have his laser pointer thing? I don't know.
His
who's going to be in his
scope?
His scope, yes. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, or in his crosshairs.
In his crosshairs.
Yeah.
Who's in his crosshairs? Yeah. There we go.
Yes. I kind of want to say probably David Harbour. I think that speech was the fact that it was so fiery. You know, I think that's what would probably capture his attention. I would think Julia Louis-Dreyfus would be another one. I'm trying to think.
Mahershala Ali might be a good one.
I don't know about Mahershala. I think his was just hit such a perfect tone without being so overt that it's not something he would be drawn to. That would. Or one that would probably be like the top line one of news articles about the evening.
Let me ask you guys a question. This is something Zach Laws and I were talking about. Do you think there was a winner in the waiting with a great political speech? Maybe Uzo Aduba. I mean, her story is one for, that's very relevant to today with the immigration process. Is there anybody that didn't win that would have given a Meryl Streep type speech?
Meryl
Streep. Yes, Matt.
Meryl Streep.
I'm kind of interested to know what Courtney B. Vance might have said.
Oh
yes.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Someone mentioned he had no chair. He was just standing up.
He
was always standing.
Time.
Yeah.
I was like,
Maybe he just had to go to the
Courtney
bathroom,
said.
but had to hold it in. I don't know. Didn't want to miss anything.
There was one shot where he was kind of bent down, Like, you saw the camera on Felicity Huffman during that category, and he was kind of bent down, like, behind her. And I was like,
Yeah.
What are you doing? What's happening here?
I don't know. I think Casey Affleck probably had a great political speech, and he was just waiting for SAG to show us all.
Yeah, he was waiting for us to put a mirror under his mouth to see if he was still breathing. Like, come on. He didn't have anything planned.
Yeah.
So is he done? Is he done at the Oscars now?
I hope so.
No.
He's done.
I wouldn't say he's the front runner either. I think we had an actually interesting Best Actor race, but I don't think he's done.
There's a lot of time between now and then, and of course, you know, I said it before and I'll say it again. You know, he could, if Casey wins BAFTA, which, you know, I mean, there's a perfectly good chance that he's going to win BAFTA, and
there's a perfectly good chance that they could give it to Andrew Garfield, who's British.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, yeah, it's an interesting.
We're going to argue about the BAFTAs tonight.
Jesus Christ, you two.
What about I actually thinking about the Trump tweet thing. I think Ashton Kutcher could get a bit.
Yeah,
I think because for me it's like a bit with Trump. Like, yes, David Arbor would be the obvious person to go after, but I wonder if Trump thinks he's a big enough. Like, he wants to go after the bigger celebrity sort of thing.
Right. You know who Trump should go after? He should go after Nicole Kidman for the parrots on her dress.
Oh,
what was that?
Yeah. Bjork Redux.
I thought that was like peacock feathers at first, but then I saw it and I was like, oh my God, it's even worse.
Yes.
I would have been interested to see what Dev Patel might have said.
Yeah, I think he would have been good.
I was kind of
I would have loved.
really.
I would have loved to see what Jeff Bridges would have said, only because Jeff Bridges is so off the cuff, and you never quite know. He kind of lapses into the dude, you know, when he gives speeches in public, and I just think it would have been off the wall and really kind of fun.
I don't think that would have led to a good
rambles,
political moment, but
he rambles, but it's, you know, like when he was winning all that stuff for Crazy Heart, he was so overdue at that point that I didn't care. I was just like, I want him to win and I want his moment.
Yeah.
he gave a good Oscar speech. He, you know, some of them get it right at the end.
I like what he said. He thanked his mom and dad for introducing him to such a groovy profession. I'm just like, you're high.
Yeah. When he was like holding it up at the sky and waving it and saying "Mom and Dad," I was like, okay, he's probably not going to give the best, most articulate speech, but that's a very sweet moment if you remember nothing else from a speech.
Yeah. Nah,
Do we think all four film winners will repeat at the Oscars? I mean, I know the Denzel Casey thing is still pretty big, but it seems like Emma now has taken the lead.
Weigh in, Charles, on this, because we talked a bit about the lead actress race earlier. What do you think?
I saw what you guys were talking about. I just differ a bit with Amanda because you were talking about how you don't think Emma is the next in line to win for a musical, and the thing is that the musical genre is so, at least Oscar-worthy musicals are so infrequent now that I don't think that maybe if this movie had come out in the late 60s or the early 70s, that would be something that would have crossed Academy members' minds. But with this, I don't see that being part of the conversation. Now, I could be wrong about that. But I do think this is a very fluid race. I still think Natalie Portman is a very big threat. Meryl Streep could be. I think Isabelle Huppert is the big question mark in this thing. Yeah. And one thing, and I hate to keep on lobbing on Amanda, but
everybody's on.
Let me just
Okay, go ahead.
let me just mansplain to you like I'm Aaron Sorkin for a second.
That sounds dirty. Like, seriously, you should buy me dinner before you do anything like that. Like,
I'll ship you some chips. The thing with Isabelle Huppert. The thing with Isabelle Huppert, as opposed to Sylvester Stallone, I think one thing that also hurts, that you're right about the factors with Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone also had the factor of, the weight of all the bad movies that he's made. When
he was getting a standing ovation every time he got up.
He went to the restroom and got an applause
twice.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Marcus. He
twice
was so
he got a standing ovation, and it was not awarded by his peers.
But the standing ovation was his peers. They loved him.
Some of them
How
were.
could they not pick him when everyone is standing up? Even the people he lost
Because
to
they're
are
thinking
happy
because
for
they're
him.
thinking about the idea of Academy Award winner Sylvester Stallone. You know, and maybe I'm just off on this, and you know, because I don't think Isabelle Huppert is out front to win, but I think she's still this big question mark because she is like Mark Rylance. She is the actor's actor.
Mark
you know,
Rylance was nominated every single award last year.
I'm not saying every instance is alike. I'm just saying that, you know, she does have that going for her, and I think that she's still this big factor there.
We'll predict her, and then when you're wrong, then we can talk about it.
I'm not confident with anyone in this race right now.
Yeah, I'm so curious to see what's going to happen.
I'm going to argue against myself a bit because what I was saying about Denzel Washington earlier. So apologies for the little bit of hypocrisy here, but I don't know if award show rooms are like the best sample size of Academy voters. Like, and I think like we often saw this at the Emmys when you heard the biggest cheers in the room for 6 Feet Under when they were announcing categories, and it never won anything. It did win a writing or directing once, but like,
who did you hear the biggest cheer for in the best actor race? Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that. I'll have to go back.
I didn't notice that. I mean,
I
when
heard
Denzel won,
I heard.
So excited.
I heard that. I heard. Yeah.
I was like kind of nervous. I'm like, what does this mean?
It means he made a movie with 15 children, and they feel sorry for him.
Did you guys talk about Sarah Paulson earlier?
No, talk about it, Marcus.
Who's Sarah Paulson?
Aren't you supposed to be having your picture taken with her right now?
She just made history. Not only did she win the SAG, of course, but she won the Emmy, the TCA, the Critics' Choice, and the Golden Globe. This is the first time a limited series performer has won all 5. And Riley Chow wrote a great article about this. It's on goldderby.com right now, so go and take a look. She made history, guys. We're not even talking about it.
Yeah.
That's because everybody knew she was going to win.
We're talking about it now, Marcus. We're talking about it right now. She won, and great to see Sarah win again. Big fan. She's a big fan of Gold Derby.
She is, yeah. She deserved all of these. And next,
I think she's a big fan of yours, Marcus. I think she's a big fan of yours. I'm pretty sure if she could go straight for anybody, it'd be for you, buddy.
Next up, Sarah, we want Sarah to host SNL. So if Lorne Michaels is watching, I know he loves our chats. Lorne Michaels, cast her on SNL next, okay?
Oh God, she'd be amazing.
She would be wonderful.
I'm also sure Sarah's watching this right now, and congrats, Sarah. I'm sure she's got her iPhone out at the after party watching our Slugfest.
Maybe Marcia Clark's watching.
Yeah, like Marcus going, wait, it's taking a while for them to mention me.
Let's edit this so the Sarah Paulson is first, and then we'll go into the everything else.
Yes. Okay, no, it was a really good win. What about
do you think one thing that I don't think we've been talking about is if Mahershala Ali does win the Oscar, would that make him the first Muslim to win in the acting categories?
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I know like you've had some people that are Muslim that have won in like documentaries and some of the shorts, but this would be a big first.
I just switched to the salesman and the Oscars. I know this
That's
is
what
not.
I did.
I did just think that. I was
Did you all switch to the salesman for foreign language?
Yep. The minute I saw that, I'm like, Trump decided foreign language film.
Interesting.
I do think I don't know, like I'm questioning whether I should say this or not. Isabelle Huppert might benefit from being a foreigner this year in the actress race.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. She did tackle. She did talk about when in her Globe speech, she did talk about how cinema builds bridges; it doesn't build up walls.
Yeah.
Think about it. This would be the first year that in Oscar history that 3 of the 4 acting winners are people of color.
Yeah.
That's never happened before.
It almost happened in 2006.
Trying to think which year 2006.
Yeah, that was Jennifer Hudson, Forrest Whitaker, and thought Eddie Murphy was. A lot of people thought Eddie Murphy was going to win.
Yeah, he's another one that just couldn't win after a bad run of movies.
Yeah. What about
Well, he was also promoting a bad movie at the same time.
Yeah, that didn't help.
Yeah, and we've also got well, you could also have someone of color win lead actress too.
That's not gonna happen.
Oh yeah, Ruth Negga. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I'm afraid to say, Amanda, that's not gonna happen after Aaron Taylor Johnson, and after. I mean, would you say William H. Macy tonight was a not gonna happen one? It's hard to say that.
My theory still holds true that SAG Awards come in twos. It just wasn't the two I thought it was.
Right.
Going to
It was one here and one over here. He just didn't get the middle one.
Yeah, he didn't get the middle one. But when Ralph was like, "You're nuts, you're crazy," and every other thing he called me.
Another thing about Bill Macy, though, is that he is someone who is very conscious of the union aspect of SAG, very much like Alec Baldwin was. And remember, he won 8 or 7 for 30 Rock. Wow. So I think that's something to keep in mind. Like I remember this very vividly when he won for Door to Door. When he got up on stage, he actually reached and pulled out his wallet and pulled out his SAG card as a moment of pride. So at least within that community, they're very conscious of him as a very active proponent and what's the word advocate for the Screen Actors Guild.
I just figured they didn't want. I was like, I guess they must be legally required to give William H. Macy or Felicity Huffman one every 4 or 5 nominations between the two of them. Like,
yes, I saw your email.
Well, then Felicity is due.
Yeah, I wondered could Felicity beat Sarah? I wondered that for a split second.
Oh man, because she was just as good as Sarah Paulson, in my opinion.
No, not that
nearly as good.
In American, in the second season of American Crime, she was fabulous. She was absolutely.
You're right. Nearly as good. You're right.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But I thought her performance was still on that very striking level of it just commands the attention.
If Felicity Huffman had won, I don't think we should be saying that's a tragedy. That was a robbery or anything like that. It was a deserving, strong performance that, especially when Sarah Paulson won the Emmy and the Golden Globe. It's not
Sarah Paulson would have been on her feet saying, "Congrats, Felicity."
I think she would. I think she would.
Yeah. Felicity Huffman just needs to win more in general because she's wonderful and everything that is right on this planet. And her and Bill Macy as a couple are everything that is right on this planet as well.
Yeah. No, for
Did
sure.
anybody else have Claire Foy winning?
I had her, and then Ralph convinced me to change to Millie Bobby Brown.
No.
Yes, he's like, "You're nuts." That was the one time. I mean, he just kept beating me up so much. He's gonna email me.
I will say the great Riley Chow at Gold Derby. He put together all of these stats from the past 22, 23 years. Not a single time in comedy or drama has somebody been up against a co-star and they won, unless there were two sets of co-stars. That's the only exception. Vote splitting is very, very common for drama and comedy, but not for movie mini.
But I would have thought that Tandy Newton would have benefited from that.
Right.
She got the best clip award. I mean, I'm sorry, out of everybody's clip, all the film, you won. If I'd never seen anything, she won best clip of the night. I've died 1,000 times. I'm great at it.
Oh, she's so great.
How about you? And I'm like, damn, you're still ahead for the Emmy. Don't worry.
Yeah. And of course, probably Claire Foy and Tandy Newton probably won't compete against each other, depending on where they put Tandy Newton at the Emmys.
She's going supporting, I would assume. But
does this put Claire Foy in front or out there at least for the Emmy?
I don't think there's a good record of people winning the Globe and the SAG Award and then the Emmy. I'm going to have to check the math, but I don't think it's a good record. I don't think it's a really good record for her.
I think the Emmys.
She plays the Queen, so she might have.
I think the Emmys are generally in a vacuum. I don't think they pay too much attention to Globes and SAG and what they do. I think largely because of just the time distance. We've got series that will be competing at the Emmys that are completely different to the series that are competing at the Globes. And I also think the Emmys like to be their own beast as well. But I think The Crown in all categories is looking very strong because it's the kind of show the Emmys like. It's pretentious. It's expensive. It's political. Like I think that everyone on The Crown is looking really good for the Emmys.
I started looking through categories, and I'm thinking without Game of Thrones in competition this year, and without Downton Abbey, it could very well be the highest nominee this year.
Wow.
It could really
easily
score a lot of nominations because it's gonna have prosthetic makeup. They could do regular.
I think you're right, Amanda. And look at the actors that won Globes compared to the actors that won SAG. It's only Sarah Paulson and Claire Foy. Everyone else kind of deviated. Isn't that interesting that there's only two of all the acting prizes, only two matched up?
Yeah.
And a lot of the cast of The Crown is unknown. So we might still see Vanessa Kirby. We still might see Matt Smith. Yeah. I really, really love Vanessa Kirby. If you haven't seen her as Princess Margaret.
Do your MVP, Emmy MVP.
I'm doing that, but I'm just saying that her whole storyline's been like, for season 2, has been in the news recently. So it just keeps being brought back up.
I think also, like, I would say The Crown has a shot at beating Game of Thrones' record for most Emmys in a year.
You think it'll win more than what's the record? 12?
I think it's got a shot. It's got a shot.
The record?
I don't think it will, but I think it's got a shot.
It could.
We could get close because it's going to get costumes. It's going to get production design. It's going to get. I mean, we're going to see the Oscars come to the Emmys when we have Stephen Frears and Peter Morgan.
And
Stephen
be careful. Be careful for Feud, the next FX. I realize that's a different category, but sometimes the technical categories match up. Feud on FX, that's going to be a big player.
Yeah, those two are probably going to be the highest vote totals potentially.
Most likely.
Look, it's Tom O'Brien.
Look, it's Tom O'Brien.
There's two of you.
Look at this. So what we might do is I might ask, because we're getting a bit crowded, I might ask Amanda and Tony to sign off. Thank you for all your thoughts and post-SAG things. I definitely know I want to have a couple of slugfests on at least the Best Actor race in the next week or two. So I think there's a lot of unfinished things to hash out there. So thanks, guys. And
it's been a joy, Amanda and Tony. It's been wonderful.
I've loved you in Blue Man Group. I mean, you were stellar.
All right. Bye, all.
Bye.
Get a real job, Tony.
Marcus is still here on his victory tour.
Did you hear I got Hidden Figures correct, Tom?
Oh my God! I think I saw it in Variety.
And I also got Stranger Things, and I also got Orange is the New Black.
I'm sorry I missed that.
Maybe rewind it and watch from the beginning.
Congratulations.
No, we're joking, but thank you, Tom.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. To fit Gold Derby requirements, we now have a Tom on our
a Tomo
post award show. A Tomo
That's right.
on our
You
show.
Tomo.
Yeah. So
actually, there's two Tomos.
The other one, his computer is acting up, so Tom O'Neill cannot join us right now.
Yeah, okay.
But Tom, what did you pick for ensemble, and were you surprised by Hidden Figures?
I was. I wasn't. I should not have been, given the enthusiasm and the solid box office that it's continuing to hold on. I chickened out with Manchester only because it had the most nominations, but boy, we see how that worked out.
Ouch! Yeah, snubbed.
Yeah, and it's like, I think I made a note of, we're deprived of another snoozy Casey Affleck acceptance speech. But it was so nice to see Denzel be so excited and so animated and so genuinely moved.
Yeah, because he's won awards in the past, but it has been a while for him.
Yeah,
like it's almost like a former part of his life was when he was like winning Oscars and getting nominated for things and stuff. So, Flight, he got nominated for Flight though, didn't he?
Yeah,
right. So he hasn't won in maybe you're right, Matt, like 10 years or something.
Yeah, like
probably more than that. It's 15 years.
Yeah.
It's been 16 years since he won.
Wow. I feel like
oh my God,
15 years.
So old.
I feel like
yeah.
It's
and
like
that one was 12 years after his previous win. So it's been it's always taken a bit more than a decade to get back up on there.
Yeah, it's like Marcus, when we were at the Emmys, the year Bradley Whitford won for Transparent, and we saw him at all the parties and stuff, and he seemed so excited and so happy to be there and things. And like we reminded him at the Creative Arts after he won that it had been 14 years since the last time he won an Emmy.
And it's almost like
yeah,
Bradley has moved on, but the Emmys hadn't moved on. So it's kind of, maybe it's the same thing this year with Denzel. Like Denzel's done many wonderful things, but the voters are still like, I'm going to vote for you, even though you've done a million things. Like, this is it. That kind of, that's a great comparison, the Bradley Whitford comparison, actually.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that.
Like this sort of memory of like, oh, I remember when I used to win awards. Like,
They want to see him on the stage.
Yeah.
Here he had the writing. August Wilson's prose is, oh God, it's so beautiful. I could just, I didn't even need to see the visuals. Just those words are just music to my ears.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So, Tom, what was your highlight of the night? What was your favorite moment?
Other than Winona Ryder's visuals.
Those were so great.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. In the beginning, I thought it was, okay, this is an average SAG Award show. But it's just that everybody rose to the occasion. I was afraid it was going to be a night of anti-Trump speeches, which is fine, but it's just doing, every single person, I was just afraid it was going to be and then he'd use this as a club to beat over Hollywood again, and blah, blah, blah.
Classic Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah. See, elites out of touch, blah, blah, blah. But the speeches were by and large so good, particularly Davis and Ali. Those were my two favorite speeches. But
which one? Sorry, Tom.
Viola Davis and Mahershala Ali.
Yeah.
But what I was most impressed with David Harbour, barreling through that, because the kids were excited, and like Taylor Schilling couldn't quite control the mass of people giggling and behind her. David Harbour did, and he was like a Baptist minister. He was building and building and building, and then finally, boom. And the kids could still act up, but he was the one in control. And I was kind of riveted by how much he controlled the stage.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm very happy with the show.
Good point.
Yeah, and I love David Harbour. And I know there's been a lot of attention on the kids. Like, I think he gives the best performance in that show, for mine. I don't know. It might just be my taste and my sort of preferences and things, but he's what really sucked me into that show. His sort of curmudgeon-y sheriff trial.
And he did that tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's really riveting.
What does that mean for the Emmys? Could Stranger Things win at the Emmys? There's no Game of Thrones this year. It's going to be Stranger Things versus The Crown. We know that'll get in. Downton Abbey is out. Mr. Robot could be out because the season 2 wasn't as heavily praised.
I'm not feeling it out here.
Stranger Things?
No. Mr. Robot.
So do you think Stranger Things could win? It won the Producers Guild. It won the SAG Awards. This is the next step, is the Emmys, right?
It's hard to deny it.
I think the Queen's more prestigious.
Yeah.
I feel like that could hurt it.
I think Emmy voters are a little more aware of their image. As an Emmy voter, I know that's a temptation. It's like, do I really want this to be an Emmy winner?
Yeah.
And I think that would help The Crown.
And I think Stranger Things and The Crown would both be strong Emmy winners. So I'm not speaking of the quality of either show, but I do think that attitude, Tom, has sort of almost preserved the Emmy canon a little bit. Like, if you look at the drama series list, they're very strong shows. Like, it's hard to fault any one of those shows as being an undeserving show of winning Best Drama Series. Talking about the past 15, 20 years sort of thing.
Right.
And there may have been some good ones that you've missed out on, but I do think, now I think it's a shame when it gets a bit like, oh, The Crown's a bit more prestigious than Stranger Things, so we're going to vote for The Crown. But I do think you have shown some restraint, the Emmy voters, where other award groups haven't, just throwing things. Oh, Grey's Anatomy, that's popular now. Let's give that the award. Oh, this is that. Yeah.
At the Emmys, it's interesting because Orange is the New Black is not eligible for comedy. So will they go with last year's winner Veep, which we have not seen the new season yet, or Atlanta, which won the Producers Guild Award, or maybe the Golden Globes? Who won the Golden Globes? I'm already blanking.
Atlanta.
Yep.
So Atlanta must be the front runner then. The Globe winner and the PGA winner.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, it's hard because a lot of these shows we haven't seen yet. We haven't seen, even on paper, because the Emmys so often will go by their own playbook. Even if something new is very popular, they'll sometimes just go in a completely different direction. Very rarely do we see complete, sweeps of all three, especially with the Emmys as the last one. Quite a few times we'll see someone win an Emmy because of their scheduling. You'll see someone win an Emmy and then a Globe and SAG, but I think it's a lot rarer to do it the other way around.
I imagine at the end, I haven't done the breakdown or statistics, but I would imagine statistically the incumbent wins at the Emmy more often than the Globe winner.
Yeah.
Look at Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
Girls.
Harkening back to the days that it used to be panels where voters would go on that. And it may just be because you wind up having to spend several hours in the day, and working professionals don't have the time to do that. But the average Emmy voter I saw at those panels was old. I mean, speaking as an old person, those people were even older than I am. And I don't know how open they are to embrace change.
Yeah.
But now it's much different now. We saw that with this year's Emmys because of now it's just straight popular vote. It's not ranked anymore.
That's true.
So, and that's how we saw so many of those pleasant surprises at this year's ceremony. I'm trying to remember, we got some like Louis Anderson winning for Baskets and Kate McKinnon winning for Saturday Night Live, which had never happened since they allowed the Saturday Night Live women people into supporting. Anything's possible.
So going back to, because we'll probably wrap up this chat now. I have no idea how long this has gone, but I think it's gone longer than we'd planned it to go, would be my guess.
We've already been canceled by TV Land.
Yeah, probably. And it's very hot here in Sydney at the moment. I think we've hit about 99 degrees. So we're very balmy, hot afternoon. But anyway, I want to hear from each of you your last sort of thought on tonight's awards and what that means going forward. Marcus, we'll start with you.
Oh, well, everyone knows what I'm going to say. Hidden Figures is the best SAG ensemble winner I can think of, just from a personal, not even a prediction standpoint, but just personal standpoint, best winner in a very long time. It was a very well-deserved win. If I was a voter, I would have voted for Hidden Figures, so I'm glad all of those members of the SAG Awards voted for it. And it doesn't really mean a lot going forward to the Oscars, because I think La La Land is going to take that trophy for Best Picture. But what a way to go out! At the very last category, Hidden Figures win. What an awesome moment that was.
That's what I like about when a film like Hidden Figures wins. Because often, a Manchester by the Sea or a Moonlight would win. We go, okay, now they're going to position themselves as Oscar. But this is a win for Hidden Figures tonight. It's not about
nothing else, right?
Just not saying on the road. This was the best ensemble of the year. We've won this. It's not about having to parlay that into. Whereas Moonlight and Manchester by the Sea, if they won tonight, our whole discussion would have been about, can they win the Oscar? Can they beat La La Land? And we can just talk about how great the Hidden Figures ensemble is.
And Mahershala won there, and he won supporting. So Mahershala Ali wins 2 SAG Awards.
Big winner.
Charles, what are your thoughts?
I think my final thought would be, even though La La Land is very likely to have a big swoop at the Oscars, we still have a lot of interesting categories, and we saw that evidence tonight with Best Actor, Best Actress are still, even though Emma, I would say, is slightly out front, still very interesting. This is still a very interesting race, and And still anything can happen. Same with Best Actor, and I would even put Supporting Actor in there. Even though I do have I would say Mahershala Ali is out front at this point. It's just the time of his screen time. It just gives me pause. It doesn't mean I'm not predicting him, but it does give me pause because it would be so unorthodox for the Oscars to go with.
Anne Hathaway.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because again, that was right at the beginning of the movie. So yeah, I think that's probably a very apt comparison.
Tom,
I think that regarding Anne Hathaway, she had a killer song. That was 3 minutes of you're totally intensely focused on her. Mahershala Ali is a little more ephemeral. Once you get the character, there's no, for me at least, a huge Oscar moment. And I agree with Charles. I think he may be a little more vulnerable than we think, but I'm not sure who to go to. Who else would do it? Because he's been winning everything left and right. And it would have to be an Oscar win that's really kind of totally out of left field. Personally,
sorry, Tom, I was going to say.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Tom. I was just going to say, like, with Sylvester Stallone last year, I did not see him winning, but I had the similar sort of thing. Well, I just don't see who beats him.
Yeah.
And then he lost. It's even somebody like Lucas Hedges, I would like to look again at. There's some.
I would say watch out for Michael Shannon.
Yeah,
that would be very interesting. But I love the fact that we have a race again. At least Best Actor. I think everything else is probably going to eventually going to fall into line, but actor's very exciting all of a sudden.
Even actress, Tom, do you think Stone's got it in the bag now?
This helped a lot, but I agree with Amanda that Isabel has got to go to BAFTA. We got to, she's got to mark something now. She just can't ride into the Oscar with only the Golden Globe win. Granted, there were critics awards along the way, but I think the heat is back under Emma for the moment.
Yep, cool. Well, it's been so much fun talking Screen Actor Guild Awards, breaking it all down with you guys. Obviously, everyone watching, Gold Derby's the place to be following the Oscar Derby, all other Emmy Award races, all that sort of stuff that's coming up, that's in the pipeline. So to go to goldderby.com for all that and join in the forums. Give us your own thoughts. Tell us what else you want us to be talking about. I'm pretty sure we'll have a lead actress themed slugfest coming up pretty soon, though, I would imagine. That's what I'm keen to.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah.
Nope, that'd be great.
Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. And thanks, Charles, Marcus, Tom, Tony, and Amanda for joining.
The other one.
Cheers, man.
Yeah. Okay.